And hello to everybody who just joined us. So this is my second part to my sketchnoting webinar. I'm calling this one a sketch to remember, and I'm going to give you some strategies to get your students sketchnoting. And sketchnoting is really a strategy that works well for any content area. So in order to get you started, I am going to have you, or I'm going to give you two options actually. So this is my first time doing it. I don't know if it's going to be, if it's going to go perfectly or not, probably not, but I'm using Pear Deck today. And I would like you guys to either connect with me using paper and pencil, or you are going to participate using Pear Deck, and I'm going to help you get on right now. So for those of you who are out there that have a device and can participate with me, if you could take my Zoom out of full screen and then open up your web browser and then go to joinpd.com. So if you go to joinpd.com, then it's going to ask for a code, and then you can type in MAIND, M-A-I-N-D, and it will get you in. And for those of you who are going to be watching the recorded version of this, by the time you watch it, this is going to be closed. So you'll just have to, you'll watch along just to see how Pear Deck works with a live audience. So I'm testing this out for the first time. So if you can, either in the chat or a reaction in Zoom, give me a thumbs up, or in the camera, give me a thumbs up if you are able to get onto my Pear Deck by going to joinpd.com. Okay, I see Dee Dee's in. Awesome. And Sandia, thanks for joining us. I see that she's in as well. Okay. So on your screen, the first thing it's going to ask is, how are you feeling today? So that's just a great check-in that you can do with your quick check-in with your students. And so I'm going to just continue. And on this first slide, you're going to see that there's a thumbs up. If you're joining me on Pear Deck, there's a thumbs up on the screen, and I would like you to take that thumbs up and move it to, if you're going to participate using paper and a drawing tool, or you're going to try and participate with me using Pear Deck. And I will show you, oops, sorry, hold on, let me go back to that. Oh, here we go. What I'm seeing on my screen. So as a teacher, if you do use Pear Deck, I'm just using the Pear Deck extension with Google Slides, and I can actually see where my students are. And if I set it so that they drag an icon across the screen, I see that a couple of people are going to be following along using Pear Deck. So let's see. I am going to go to the next slide. What is sketchnoting? This is one of my favorite YouTube videos. In the interest of time, I'm not going to play the whole video for you, but instead what I did was I took a screenshot of the very last image from this YouTube video. So this video comes from Sketcho-Frenzy, and what she does is she explains the basics of visual note-taking. And she says that there are 3 things to remember about note-taking, and that is that for visual note-taking, text is really important, and images and organizational elements are really important. But the most important message, I think, for sketchnoting is that you get to do things that your way so that everything makes sense. And so I just want you to take a look at this sketch note and take a look at all those things that pop out to you on the page. And I'm just gonna do a really quick notice and wonder activity right here on the next page. If you're looking at your browser and you're following along on Pear Deck, you're gonna see a place for you to type in an answer. So I just want you to take a look at the sketch note and tell me what is something that you notice and what is something maybe that you wonder just by looking at this image. And notice and wonder is just a simple protocol that you can use in your classroom. It's really friendly for students to access, because all students can tell you something that they notice and something that they wonder. And if you're not in the Pear Deck, if you want to just type something into the Zoom chat, you can tell me something that you notice and maybe something that you wonder. But as a teacher, on my screen, I'm going to show what I'm seeing from my students. I notice lots of visuals. I wonder how people are getting their ideas to use when sketchnoting. I notice that symbols represent ideas. I wonder how I can relate to this. Doing things your own way so everything makes sense. Like this because it lets you make sense of it. Yes, lots of visuals. So from the teacher's end, when you're presenting from Pear Deck, you have access to all of your students' responses. And this is a great way to check in to see, where your students are at when you're giving a lesson. I noticed different sizes of text. Yes. And then in the chat, I see, notice information is organized into columns. I wonder how the person decided how to organize this. That is a great question. Let me go back to this visual. And going back to what she says at the very end, do things your way so that everything makes sense. So in your brain, you might organize information a lot differently. And this person just decided that for her to organize things in nice columns is a great way for her to show her thinking. So when it comes to sketchnoting, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just basically you getting your information on the page. And today what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through some exercises together to get us drawing and to find a simple way just to start the basic level of just beginning sketchnoting. So thank you for participating with this one. And I see some new people in the chat. So those of you who want to come in and follow along on using Pear Deck, if you want to go to joinpd.com, then you could type in the code MAIND, M-A-I-N-D. And I like that Pear Deck gives you Misty Avocados inspect new drums. Okay. Oh, thanks, Kirsten. She's typing it in the chat for us. Awesome. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay, so here's my tip number one for sketch notes is one, to get those quick images onto the page, practice quick sketches. And one thing that I like to do with students is I just like them to start with images that they know. I'm not going to have you do it right now, but in the classroom, when I do these kinds of exercises with students, I just give them a blank piece of paper. I put the timer on for 1 minute and I just say, get your pencil going, and practice drawing shapes, practice turning those shapes into simple images, and if maybe practice doing some of your lettering. So start with things that you know. And since I'm giving you some digital tools, if you could click on the link for Quick Draw. So if you're in Pear Deck, you should actually be able to click Quick Draw and it'll open up this site for you in a new tab. Oops, here, let me just click on it. And it should look like this. So if you can give me a thumbs up if you're able to get into Quick Draw. Yay. So what I want you to do is I want you to play around with this site as I kind of tell you what it is. So what Quick Draw is, this is a tool where it's going to ask you to draw something. So you have 20 seconds to draw the word. And mine, for example, says jacket. Shoot. So you're going to...
I see banana, or shovel, or lipstick, or sweater.
Oh.
I'm stumped. Oh, I know, it's jacket.
There. So I'll just do that one so that you can go ahead and try it yourself. But what it's doing is the computer is trying to guess your drawing. So it's trying to guess your drawing by the shapes that and the lines that you're drawing on the shape. And what you're doing is actually you're contributing to the artificial intelligence that built the tool AutoDraw. So I love this tool just to get people to do quick drawings. But then also, if you feel like you're not very confident with your drawings, you can always go to AutoDraw. And if I start drawing in AutoDraw, let me try and draw that same jacket that I drew earlier. So by me starting to draw this, what AutoDraw does, it says, do you mean any of these images? So I can take this jacket that I started to draw and say, oh wait, I wanted a jacket that looks more like this. And now I have a jacket on the page. So you could actually start to get your students doing some sketchnoting in AutoDraw, and it will automatically generate some of these images on the page. And if you wanted to use an actual drawing tool, you could use a drawing tool to do your own drawings that go with it as well. So that's a really cool digital tool to start getting you to do some digital sketches.
Gena?
Yes.
Hi, it's Dee Dee.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Hi there. Can you go through again where you clicked on to find the auto draw feature?
So on your page, do you see this link that says auto draw? Yeah. And you're on mute right now, so. Yes. Oh wait, I still can't hear you. You're still on mute. Hold on.
I'll unmute myself. The
Okay.
space bar wasn't working. So I have to get out of the app and actually go to what you put in the Pear Deck presentation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's AutoDraw, or you could just look up AutoDraw. I think it's autodraw.com, and it'll take you to AutoDraw.
Okay, thanks.
So that's one of my favorite digital sketching tools. And then another tip that I have is just to turn a squiggle into a sketch. This is a quick activity that I like to do with students to just get those creative juices flowing. So I'm gonna test this out with you. Now on your Pear Deck screen, you should see this image right here, or squiggle. You should see this squiggle, and I'm gonna give you 1 minute, and you could use any of the drawing tools that you see at the bottom of your screen. You're gonna see drawing tools with colors. You're also gonna see a highlighter, there's a line tool, there's a text tool if you wanna add text, and then there's an eraser. So I want you to take a look at this squiggle and see if you can turn it into a drawing. And then I will go ahead and share what people are creating. So I'm gonna give you a minute. Let's see if this timer works. It does, but I can't. So when the music stops, then we'll take a look and see what everybody came up with. All right. Oops. Oh no, sorry. I moved it, but I think, are you still able to draw there? Here, let's go ahead and let me see what we got, what kinds of responses we got. Ooh, I have a golf club. Awesome. I have, not sure, those kind of look like glasses. I'm not sure.
They look like glasses to me, only I didn't draw them.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Hi, Sandy.
Someone said Google glasses.
Oh, cool. Ooh, I like this. A little man, I love it. Actually, that looks kind of like Jonathan. Is that you? Okay, here we have Mario. Here's some sleeping person. So, yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing your drawings. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this or any comments about this activity?
What?
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
You were able to see who's the student who drew this?
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Oh, am I able to see who is the student who drew it? You know what? That's a good question. This is the first time I'm actually really presenting with
I
a
don't have
lot
to
of people. And I'm not actually seeing names on this
John,
slide.
there's
It's probably
there's that
because,
leftover burrito a little bit too. I left it.
You're-
I don't know if you wanted it.
You're not on mute.
there we go. I just muted. It's probably because, you know, I'm presenting it to students, but I know what happens afterwards. After I end this presentation, then I can get a copy of every student's work, and it puts it all in a Google Drive folder for me. So,
I've been hearing a lot of comments from the elementary world that their kids don't read yet, and how do you distance learning with them? And this would be pretty easy because most first graders already know some mouse movement and could respond.
yes, I love that. I know. That's why I really love this drawing tool, because it's great for EL students. It's great to give all students access to the content. So I'm gonna give you
one more on a bigger note.
Yep.
In science, we keep asking students to draw models of what they're studying. And for kids who are not comfortable with their drawing, they could keep grabbing the images from the auto deck so that they could create their drawings even if they don't feel confident, particularly if peers are going to be looking at it.
Yes.
Also,
love
the
that.
science community has been doing what I notice and what I wonder. We layer on top of that what it reminds me of. It adds a cultural aspect to the whole process.
I like that. I'm gonna start using that. Thanks for sharing, Sandy. So either in the chat or in the Pear Deck, can you type in something that you can do to encourage quick doodling or sketches? What is something that you could do? And maybe it could be take one of these activities. Maybe anything else that you've seen out there. And as you're doing it, I'm gonna just use Pear Deck. So I can actually see as you're typing in these responses. Ooh, math. Have students sketch what's happening in a math problem. Quick check-ins. Yes. And then in the chat, I'm seeing in primary grade, sketch pictures for different letter sounds. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for all of your responses. Now we're actually going to go into, now that you've practiced some of those quick sketches, let's try and put some of it into practice. So I'm going to move on from this page, but I think everybody might be finished typing. So Dee Dee, I got this from you yesterday. I've never been to this site. Oh, I've never seen this site until she shared it yesterday in her webinar. This is the Learner's Dictionary, And I really love it because it gives you definitions in some really simple terms. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 words, and I'm going to ask you just to sketch your understanding of that word. So using the Learner's Dictionary, the first word that I got was scale. And in this case, I'm thinking about scaling down. And scaling down means to decrease the size, amount, or extent of. And some of the examples are the committee scaled down the budget, the company has scaled back production, and we scaled back our original plans. So now that you've heard the definition, I'm going to have you draw your understanding of what scale is. And actually, if you want to, just really quickly on this page, I made it a drawing page. So if you wanted to use the highlighter tool to highlight some important words on this page. What do you think is an important word from this definition? I forgot I did that part. So I'm actually going to show some of the responses to see. Okay, good. I have this example. Somebody highlighted to decrease the size. So knowing that, let's go to the next page. It's just a blank page. So draw what scale down would look like, could look like. If you're scaling something down, what does that look like? And I would do the timer, but I'm actually just, in the interest of time, I'm going to just scroll through and see some of that. Oh, good. Something big becoming small. I see houses scaling down. Awesome. Okay, so the way that Pear Deck works, once I move you out of it, then you've kind of lost that page. But I'm gonna move on to, and you know, I don't know this tip about Zoom. Are you all seeing the drawing up here on my page? How?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, so now I have my second vocabulary term, and this one's congregate. This one's a little bit more difficult, but I just want you to remember that you can draw stick people if you choose to draw a person. So the definition for congregate is to come together in a group or crowd. So if you were to draw that, think about what would congregate look like? To come together in a group or crowd. Here's your blank page right here. Let's see. And then while you draw that, I'm gonna pull up responses. So I see lots of stick people. What I love about this and using this tool is it really gets to show students that quick drawings it's all you need to get your thinking across. So I see lots of faces. That's a great way to get people. You could just use not social distancing. I love that. Cute. So those are that's a great way to show different ideas for drawing people. Now, I know I'm using Pear Deck right now, but what are some other ways you can have students sketch vocabulary? So if we're doing distance learning, you know, you could use Pear Deck, but I know that a lot of you out there might know other tools that you could use, or, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a digital tool that they use. But if it's not a digital tool, think about maybe how they can share. So Ooh, whiteboard.fi. I haven't checked that one out, but I will check it out and actually put it into my show notes afterwards.
Whiteboard.fi is really cool because it gives you as many students as you need.
Oh, cool.
And you can see it in one screen as a teacher board. I've only tried it once, but it's been fantastic.
Thank you for that suggestion. Mr. Sketch scented markers. I love those. Flipgrid. That's a really good tool. Marzano vocabulary in Google Docs. Interesting. Ooh. And whiteboard.fi. There we go. And for those of you, I don't know if anybody is in here and if you didn't get the code to join, go to joinpd.com and then the code is MAIND. Okay, because I see some new people in here actually. All right, so I am going to give you your very, very last task. Well, after I give you these 3 tips. So when you actually have students start to sketch note, my tip is to just start really simply. And in the show notes and on this slide, I have a link to a blog post, and this is about sketch quoting. So this teacher, I believe middle school teacher, she has her students go in and just pick out one important quote from a story, from an article, and she has them sketch that quote. So that's a really easy way to begin sketch noting. Another idea is to sketch a song. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love vocabulary. And right now they're offering it, they're extending their free trial for teachers, but they also have free videos too. So this is one of the videos that I used in 5th grade. And what I love about the videos is that when you use a song, it's very repetitive. So because the chorus is repetitive, you really get to see what the most important ideas are. So when I was teaching about theme, I really, they really say in the song that the theme is really the big idea or the universal concept. So, yeah, Dee Dee's saying it's great for EL students with limited oral proficiency. And so that's another good place to start for sketch noting. And then the last one is sketch a short video or a podcast. And we're gonna actually try this with a really short podcast from ListenWise. So right now, ListenWise is another great resource. They're giving teachers free access for a limited time. You can get a lot of their content for free anyway, but free premium access right now. So what we're going to do is, first you're going to tell me a little bit if you know about Minecraft. So if you're in the Pear Deck with me, then what you're going to do is you're going to drag your purple flag over yes, you've heard about Minecraft and you have some sort of understanding of what it is. No, you don't. Or question mark, you've heard about Minecraft, but you're not exactly sure what it is. So as I'm looking at the responses, I can see where people have dragged their flags. So is there anybody out there who can explain what Minecraft is? I'm sure some of you might have children or a student out there who loves Minecraft because it's definitely really popular. It's a video game. So Dee Dee says that it's a video game. It is, but what it is, it's a virtual world, and students, I think kids really love it because they can be really creative in it. You can basically build whatever you want. So basically you're going roaming around this world and you're collecting lots of resources. And based on those resources that you collect, you can build things. So I'm going to play a 26-second clip of a podcast about Minecraft. So right now I'm giving you a blank page and you're just gonna sketch out one big idea from what you listen to. So this is Listen Wise, and I will have you listen to this story.
Good morning, I'm Rachel Martin. Students at the Bronx High School of Science in New York haven't set foot on their campus in weeks, but now they can visit anytime they'd like in the virtual building game Minecraft. Using blueprints and photos of the school, students created a scale model of the building. They can't stage a graduation there, but it helps them feel connected. They spared no detail, using pixels to recreate murals and desks, even the seagulls that congregate around the trash cans outside.
Okay. So if you could go to your Pear deck or capture it on paper, if you're following along with pencil and paper. Let's see, I'm gonna go to show responses. Connected. I like that image for connected. Here we go. I'm guessing this is a school. So I think one of the nice things about Pear Deck is, if you can just capture one important idea and then share it with your class, then you can see, the important information that your students got out of an article maybe that you shared with them or a podcast that you shared with them. Another resource that I had put on this slide is TED Ed. So that's another place to get really good videos that you can use with your class. But this is a quick way to get students to start sharing their thinking. So I'm gonna move on, but thank you for playing with me. This is awesome, actually. And then my final question to you, and if anybody just wants to unmute themselves, they can also just unmute themselves. But what is something simple that your students can start sketchnoting? So we heard from Sandy about what they can start sketching from in science. And then we've heard about like maybe math, sketching out math problems. So we have math story problems, and then let's see. Vocabulary, the plot of a story. Awesome. Pictures of something that starts with a specific letter. I love that. Critical thinking, sketching symbols to represent an idea. And I have to say, if sketchnoting is hard for you at first, then don't be afraid to use lots of words when you sketchnote. You can use words, and you can, just like in that very first image that I showed you, you can play around with just making things bold on your page, the most important things. But don't feel like you have to, you don't have to always just draw images when you sketchnote. But I will say that the more that you practice, the better that you're gonna get with drawing images on your page. So I want to thank everybody for being in and playing along. This was honestly my first time trying Pear Deck, but I wanted to also give you a new tool that maybe you can try out with students. And all of my resources can be found at this bit.ly. Or my website that has all of my resources for sketchnoting is bit.ly/Picada Sketch. And you can find all of my resources there. Or, oops, well, there's my webpage. Let me go to the next slide. And Karen and I are holding office hours. So if anybody has any tech questions out there, we're actually going to start this Thursday. We're obviously not doing it now at 1, but Tuesday at 1 p.m. and Thursdays at 3 p.m. we're going to do EdTech office hours. So if you have questions about any of those tech tools you're trying to use with students, please join us. We're there to answer questions and help out with anything. And I also have a free course on sketchnoting, so that's linked in the show notes as well if you want to learn more. And then for our very first time, we're going to have Jen Much join for Meaningful Science Learning on Thursday. So I would love it if you would join us to learn a little bit about science and distance learning. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. So thank you guys all for being here with me today as I tried something new. But don't be afraid to take risks with your students because this is new for all of us. So thank you.